Hey guys, I'm Jake. I am here again to talk to you about our old friend Tim Kennedy, and today, sadly, Shawn Ryan is involved. So essentially what we have, obviously, is Tim Kennedy has been invited onto Shawn Ryan's podcast, and the internet is losing their minds because, as we all know, Tim Kennedy is a bootlicking communist. Now, it seems almost as if there are a few people that somehow don't know about this still. So what I would encourage you to do, I'm not going to sit here and lay everything out for you. It's really simple. Go watch Tim Kennedy's podcast with Lance Armstrong, where he says the number one solution that America really needs is gun control. But that's the clip that is most often played. If you watch this podcast, it's 40 minutes long. You get a little further into it. You get Tim Kennedy saying very specifically that gun ownership is not a right.
Like, everybody does not have the right to have a gun.
Second Amendment, you are reading into it based on what you want it to say, not based on what it actually says, because what it actually says, written at a first grade or second grade level, is an absolute. All gun laws are infringements of the Second Amendment. So not only Tim Kennedy here is not just arguing the normal Second Amendment argument about limited infringement or anything else while saying he supports the Second Amendment, he went so far as to say that gun ownership is not a right. Now, as you probably know, anywhere that Tim Kennedy goes, a whole slew of haters follow him. But it's not the normal kind of haters. It's, in my opinion, it's pretty well deserved, because not only do you have Tim Kennedy having an absolutely egotistical attitude and constantly bragging on himself and his accomplishments, but then on the flip side, you have him representing himself as a Second Amendment advocate while being directly against the Second Amendment. Tim Kennedy may not be anti-gun, but he wants his government to decide, or himself to decide, who does and does not own guns. So it's the hypocrisy that makes him such an unlikable guy. And so you will see an incredible number of comments anywhere that Tim Kennedy goes. Now, let me just give you a little bit of extra on Tim Kennedy. Tim Kennedy also posted a how-to video on how to use a tourniquet on Instagram and was immediately dragged through the entire internet because the guy did not know how to properly use a tourniquet. And I'll tell you right now, with all of my experience with ODA and TCCC and high-speed dudes, anybody who claims to have the background that Tim Kennedy has but doesn't know how to properly apply a tourniquet is a liar. Their background is falsified. I will not buy for a single second that you are in any group doing any level of operations and you spaced off during your TCCC certification, and you don't know how to apply a tourniquet. So we have a lot of stuff about this behind Tim Kennedy anywhere he goes. And he goes onto the Shawn Ryan show, himself advertising himself as prior CIA. And I hear a lot of people who like Shawn Ryan saying maybe Shawn Ryan didn't know. However, I don't find that hard to believe. I find that impossible to believe. First off, if you did believe that, that means now that your public figure that you enjoy getting your information from has no problem speaking on a subject in which he is ignorant. So if you believe that, you are removing what it is that you liked about the guy in the first place in his defense. But more importantly, Shawn Ryan goes on the defensive for Tim Kennedy. By the way, if you like this video, please share it. Let me know what you think in the comment section below. Or if you hate it, let me know as well. In the description box below, you can see how you can support this channel. I have a knife brand, Exodus Knife and Tool. They're made in the USA. They come with an unconditional lifetime guarantee. I also manufacture myself rifle slings custom to order. I designed a rifle sling while deployed in Afghanistan, working with PSYOPs and ODA, and now I make them. So those links, as well as affiliate links and Patreon, etc., will be in the description box below. So there's no chance in my mind that Shawn Ryan just happens to be the good CIA guy who is happy to speak on things for which he is ignorant, and he's the one CIA guy who's not anymore employed, because Shawn Ryan goes on the defensive, and he is claiming that, you know, all of the people that are speaking out against Tim Kennedy and stuff like that are bots. Now, I'll tell you right now, from having multiple encounters with former CIA douchebags like the Black Rifle Coffee guys, and through his partner Black Scout Survival, I'll tell you right now that nobody affords bots like the government. So anytime you touch any of these CIA guys, you will be flooded with bots. And by the way, anybody can go buy trolls online. Anybody can do that. It's not even very expensive. So, and furthermore, we know for a fact that Twitter had FBI cells working actively in Twitter with political agendas. And so what we have is PSYOPs in the United States. The only people that can afford to be running bots is your government, is these CIA douchebags. But by going on the offensive and saying that the people that don't like Tim Kennedy and all of these comments and stuff are just coming from bots, what he is doing is he is marginalizing anyone who does not support Tim Kennedy or does not like Tim Kennedy, when in reality, Tim Kennedy is a very unlikable person who also happens to be a commie who makes his living off of acting like he's a patriot. So what you're seeing here is just interagency support. All right. So when these guys are running PSYOPs, if you burn an asset, all right, you blow your cover, your asset says something stupid and no longer is effective, then you, generally speaking, you have to either separate yourself from that asset, which Tim Kennedy is, or you have to bring in another asset to do damage control who has a better reputation. That's Shawn Ryan. What you see is another CIA douchebag that is simply pushing the narrative. And what the purpose of all of this is, the government wants to tell you who your heroes are. The government wants to give you your heroes. They want you to buy your heroes' products. And through your heroes, they want to control the narrative. They want you to be like, oh, Tim Kennedy is right. There are a lot of scary people. And I think that we should pass laws that make it so that those scary people can't have guns. And so long as we can, the government can avoid the two things that they don't want, they can continue to centralize power. So there's two things the government doesn't want. The two things the government doesn't want is, one, truly educated people, a truly educated population. So you're going to see a government indoctrination school system that at best is just a daycare and at worst exists only to indoctrinate. And two, they don't want this population to be well armed and trained. You see, you can buy toys all day long or buy firearms because it's a part of our culture and it is something that has become a status symbol. You can buy them all day long. But if you never get training, it's worthless. They're going to take it when they want it. You're going to give it when they want it. Because all they're going to have to do is hike the price on ammo, destroy the economy, and you're going to give your prized Daniel Defense, Kami Maker 5000 for a loaf of bread or whatever else it is that you want at the moment, because it's not actually a fighting tool to you. It's a safety talisman or a status symbol. And when the rubber hits the road, after you might post your whole life about nobody's gonna take my guns, we're gonna pick up our guns, we're gonna fix this country. No matter how much you say that, when the rubber hits the road and you look at your family and your house and your actual security capabilities, and when you close your eyes at night and you get rid of all of the distractions and think about what you're actually capable of doing and what you've been trained to do and what you've actually done, you will realize that you are absolutely incapable of fighting. That gun means next to nothing for you. And you give it up. So, guys, to wrap this up, don't let anybody tell you who your heroes are. Make your heroes earn something. If somebody just pops up as a household name overnight and you're not exactly sure why, just avoid them. Generally speaking, would be your best bet. But at the end of the day, guys, if we can agree on what the Second Amendment is, get away from the fear, get away from the bull crap. If you can internalize the fact that all gun laws are infringements, you can take away power from their narrative. And if you no longer support these government assets and their businesses, you will take away their power. So stop buying into it, guys. The CIA, listen, and I guess I'll say this to wrap it up, even though I said the last thing I would. When you are in the military or prior military, you start getting to upper echelons, you get your TS and way beyond that. Even me just with a TS, you're not supposed to talk about things. And especially if you're a group dude doing some real stuff, that's not for you to make money off of. The only way that your productive Navy SEAL dudes and CIA dudes become a public figure and start speaking about anything using their background to bolster their reputation, the only time that is possible is when it is government backed. That is a change of duty station. That is what that is. They don't just say, well, good job, here's a pat on the back, Shawn Ryan. Thank you for being a Navy SEAL and CIA. Now, go use your history and make your millions. No, they say, hey, we have a little bit of a new agenda here in the PSYOP, for PSYOPs, for your CIA job, for what you do. You're going to be working over here, and we're going to give you a bunch of subscribers. You're going to become a household name. We're going to give you the best guests to talk to, but here are a few key talking points that we need you to hit. And so recently, that talking point was like, hey, Tim Kennedy's not doing so hot for us anymore. So do a podcast with them, and we need you to prop this dude up. It should all be pretty simple. People, it becomes difficult for people, and I understand. You work a 9-to-5 job. You have core beliefs, but the system is not designed to give you enough time to actually think about those core beliefs. And you watch mainstream news media, or you turn on YouTube and you watch mainstream news media through the mouth of somebody like Rodney at Black Scout Survival, and you formulate the opinions that they want you to formulate. You don't have time to sit and consider. I am blessed to be in a different situation than that. I have time to sit and consider. I also have a bachelor's degree in domestic terrorism. And again, I also worked directly with ODA and directly with PSYOPs for a year in Afghanistan. And at some point, I think I've talked about it in videos. Maybe I'll hit that a little bit harder. But PSYOPs is just marketing for an idea. So look at these government shills, consider that, and think about what ideas they could be marketing. And remember that for them to be effective, they have to mostly tell the truth or mostly sell you what you want to hear. So even if you believe in training in firearms, these guys, most of the way, they're going to support what you support, or they're going to sell you what you want to buy. But the devil's in the details, and especially with people like Tim Kennedy, they make it easy. And guys, start with people that make it easy, like Tim Kennedy. Start looking at who they associate with. And like with Daniel Defense, now it's Lucas Botkins. I love 99% of what Lucas Botkins says, but sometimes things are way shady. You don't just get an invite onto Fox News with Tucker Carlson because you're a business guy with a following on Instagram, or because you're prior military or anything else. Then we've got Daniel Defense. Daniel Defense is rebranding themselves right now. I'm going to do a whole video on this. It's a really huge deal. And who pops up? John Lovell and, again, Lucas Botkins. We need some Christian-flavored influencers to rebrand. And all of the sudden, you've got Daniel Defense going from saying just being government shills to saying that they are a faith before profit brand because the new CEO, by the way, I've realized from the comment section that people don't realize this, the CEO doesn't run the business. The CEO is the head manager. He works directly for the board of directors, okay? Marty Daniels, your anti-2A commie, stepped down as the CEO, but he was also the owner. Now he's the board of directors. So the CEO worked for him. There's no actual change in power. You just got a new manager. But anyways, again, devil's in the details, guys. But stop worshiping these people. Stop getting your heroes from the algorithm and mainstream media. It's all lies. Whether it's American Sniper or anything else, it's all lies. It's all a fabricated backstory, and they are using your money to forge your shackles. Let me know in the comment section below. I hope you have a blessed day.